Check out these little Anvil patterns, guys. This showed up at my door out of the blue. I had no email letting me know ahead of time they were coming. And they're a gift from Mr. Larry Howell, who is a retired pilot. He flew not only helicopters but airplanes. I had the opportunity to talk to Larry after receiving this, and of course I thanked him. And he told me that I can do whatever I want to with these patterns. So we'll probably load a few up on the store in the future. Of course, everything else has to be finished before I can focus on that. Have to get everybody else's stuff done before I can do my own. I've had several people asking me about my wife, how she's doing. Well, Josie is doing as good as she can be. She cannot put any weight on her foot yet, so she's not doing any kind of physical therapy. But hopefully that will be coming very soon. I have definitely learned my lesson about pushing her off a ladder. Josie loves to have a garden every year, and this puts a damper on this one. But we have come up with a way to work around that. Since she can't roll her knee roller out in the dirt, we brought the dirt to the porch. And I'll show you some short video of her, what we've come up with at the end of this. Well, we're about ready to start cutting the gates in this. The first step, for those that are not familiar with the process, is to cut the sprue. This is just a tapered sprue cutter. I'm going to push down, and if you don't know what a sprue is, this is the channel that'll deliver the molten metal down into the cavity of the mold. Now, I had one half of the pattern stick to the other half. The dowels were a little long. I need to shorten them up the next time I do this. But it slid out of the cope, super clean. I didn't have any damage whatsoever to it. Now the runner is going in the end, up under the filter trap, and don't judge me on that wrench from China, guys. It's ideal for this application. But there's no need to go side to side with a wrap, just straight up. And there she goes, super clean. Now, the runners, as I have said before, you don't want any sharp intersects on anything going straight into the casting. It's not just the runners or the gates in this situation here, but also your risers. Anything that's in direct contact with that casting needs to have a fillet in it, or it's going to shrink and create hot tear in the surface that can go below. So we want to avoid that. And of course, get all the loose debris out. So the drag is finished. And now on to the cope. Now, I am going to put the pattern back in that hole because I'm going to be cutting a pipe riser on the butt end of each side, and I need something to retain the sand in place as I push that pipe down there, or it'll collapse the sand into the cavity and deform the base. We don't want that. I do not like having to try to put a pattern right back in, because 90% of the time it doesn't fall right back in place like it should, and then it crumbles some other surface areas. But I got lucky on this. Or it's just because I'm using such a good pattern. I don't know. Now we can safely move the patterns out of there along with that filter trap. And then I'm going to cut a channel or a runner from the sprue into the filter trap, and that will fill in that area. Hopefully, if there's any trash that slips past the pouring basin, which there shouldn't be, But let's say, for instance, I have a split-second rev trash get sucked down in the hole. It should go in that filter trap instead of going into the casting. So the only thing left to do here is cut the pouring basin, put this thing together, and pour it. This is it. They turned out looking really good, didn't they? I want you to check out the detail here on the lettering on both of them. Very clean, crisp. They look really good. So, yes, I'm very happy with that. Before I brag too much on this, though, let's take a look at the other sides. Now on the pattern, the logo looks great, but on the casting, which is not the pattern maker's fault, it's mine, we needed a bigger riser in here. What happened was the casting actually shrank. It expanded up to the wall of the mold, and then it pulled back from it and deformed this side of it. So let me get the actual pattern. Because of the material color, it's probably hard to see. Now if I turn it like this, I might be able to reflect the light a little bit better. So hopefully you can see that better. But he did an excellent job. The letter height, along with the distance it protrudes from the background, is perfect. And it would have turned out looking that good here. All right, so I had to back off a little bit to get a good focus. But because of the shrinkage, it deformed the logo. It sank in, and we'll have to do these a little differently. Now, if I had cast these upside down and just put the riser right here, I wouldn't have had any issue with that, because all your solidification would have been dependent on the weight up here coming down, keeping this pressure right. It would have been equal on both sides. Not to mention any possible gases would have went right up through the middle and came out in the base. If I had any gas in the material, it came through here. My temperature may have been a little on the hotter side than I was hoping for, but we're trying to get another customer, Henry, some motorcycle parts cast that are in the same material, so we use this same batch when we were pouring the anvils. And because of the thickness of that casting, we did have to run it a little on the high side. But anyway, for a first attempt, I've done a lot worse. I'm not going to complain. They look good. They look really good. These are silicon bronze, by the way. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with something else now. One more thing before I forget. Check out the auction that Stan Zankoski has going on. I was looking at some of the stuff, and there is a very rare Porter cable metal shaper. Very interesting. I've never seen one. I never knew Porter cable to be involved with any type of metalworking. My guess is if you're a metal shaper collector, you'll want to get your hands on this. There's a few days left before the end of the auction. But yeah, speaking of Stan, I don't know, I may have told some guys that I was planning on going to the Bar Z this year. We had a car rental. We were going to drive it. We were going to take off for about 2 weeks. And after the reality of all the work that's going to hit us right now, we're just not going to be able to do it. So I promised Stan I'm definitely going to try to make it next year. But to anybody I may have slipped up and said we're going to be there, turns out plans have changed. But those of you that are going, I hope you'll have a great time. I wish I could be there, but under the circumstances this year, we just can't do it. So we're having to cancel out on a lot of things that led up to that. The construction has been an issue for us, and on top of that, we're trying to keep work moving during the construction. So right now, the construction has come to a complete halt as we focus on some of this other work. The 18-inch straight edges, I want to be, if not started, halfway through with them during that event, and it's not going to happen with us shutting down 2 weeks. So we need to focus on getting these out, and I've got some other jobs that I've shown you that we're trying to work on as well. So let's just say I'll be there next year for sure. But check out what Stan put out. I'm going to plug that in right here at the end of this video and take you to that. Also, if I didn't already say, the aspect ratio on last week's video, I don't know what I did, but I'm going to try to make sure I don't do that again. It probably wasn't an issue for most of you, but for some, if you're looking at it on certain screens, it may not fill the screen. I didn't realize the problem until after all the editing was done. So it was a careless mistake on my part at the beginning of the process of editing that messed up the aspect ratio. Live and learn. The whistles. We went out to the Soule Steam Feed Works. But if you have a steam whistle, you could take it to them this last Friday or Saturday and hook it up to their system. If it's within a 2-inch or below hookup, they could accommodate it. I'm going to take one next year, hopefully. We'll see. But I wanted to feel it out. Like I said, this was Soule's first year to do it. And I'm going to make sure you know well in advance next time they do that. It will be a lot of fun. But until then, we will hopefully look forward to seeing you at the Steam Festival. And before I show you my wife's garden, we're on the other side of the house, and I wanted to show you what she's got here. And before I go into that, I'll tell you the story. Last year, she was up in Iowa for several days, and shortly after she left, I started noticing this awful odor in the house. I almost tore the house apart trying to figure out what that smell was. I called Josie and I told her, and she said it's probably her kraut. She makes her own kraut, sauerkraut. That's what we got brewing out here on the porch now. Yeah, we're not doing that in the house anymore. She does make good sauerkraut, but it's nauseating the smell when it's in the fermentation process. But we eat a lot of kraut with brats, a family recipe of hers. Of course, she's German descent, right? So it's something we eat a lot. Just to give you an idea of how big this churn is, and it's about 3/4 full. Anyway, that should be right to eat here by next month. Well, guys, I was going to show you what Josie's been doing. Even though she's a bit handicapped, we put up this little fence, keep the animals out of this part of the porch. Of course, it wraps around the house, we went ahead and fenced this in. If we could have done it over again, if I'd had any idea she was going to have this much stuff, we would have put the fence this way and been able to use this corner more. Anyway, this keeps Jake out of here. And Dollar will be digging all in this thing. And she's got strings hung up here. Needless to say, we're not going to starve. Got her hose right there, so she's got, and it's right outside the bay window, which, as you can see, she's got more stuff growing there. The one thing we're not growing is marijuana. That may be coming. Joking, guys. I have no need for any of that dope. Yep. Just wanted to show off what she's been doing. Some of the stuff she's been doing. Let me rephrase that. She's still keeping up the house and everything, along with tending to this. Let's see, we got some tomatoes starting to grow. That looks like we got some insects in that one. I saw more. Yeah, got one right there. Let's see, where's another one? I think we're going to be good on tomatoes though. Down here where I live, a bologna and tomato sandwich with salt and pepper is a delicacy. But anyway, I hope y'all are doing well. I will probably start putting these videos back out on Sunday. It just seems to work better for me that way, at this time anyway. Y'all take care, and I'll talk to you later. For those who have been asking about the Windy Hill Foundry hats, these are now available on my website, windyhillfoundry.com, under stores, or you can click on the above link. These are on the pricey side, but keep in mind the shipping is included. Have a good day.